Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the next episode of Television Terrors. In this episode, we are looking at the Real Ghostbusters and focusing specifically on 4 episodes from the first season. I'm Ash Price, and I'm joined, as always, by Noni Townsend. Noni, hello.
Hello.
And today we are joined by a special guest, founding member of the Ghostbusters of Scotland. Please welcome Des O'Gorman.
Hello, Internet. Good to see you. You have helped me thrive throughout this whole lockdown, so thank you for being there for me when the times got tough.
We do also have one extra special guest.
Oh my fucking god. Oh! Please
Ash,
never do that again.
Have you somehow managed to get a free-floating full torso vaporous apparition or a class 5 free-roaming vapor?
Maybe.
That's right, Nolly. You be making that face a lot because this is what this episode is going to be like.
I feel like I should say, for context, I am going to be the designated idiot because I know I have seen Ghostbusters, but I remember 3 things from the film, and one of them I don't even know if I remember it or if I just know what happened. So I know that there was the Xenocards thing, but I don't know if I actually remember it or if I just know it from Ash's shows. I know there's one bit where there's like a woman trying to shag a guy, and she's like, "Are you the gatekeeper? Because I'm the keymaster," or something. Yeah. And then there's a bit with the Marshmallow Man. That's it. That was my sum total knowledge of Ghostbusters, like plus the theme tune.
That's all you need.
You have more than I'd say at least 60% of the general population remembers about this film. You've got like the key elements right there.
Okay, cool. There was Xenocards, there was a sex scene, there was a Marshmallow Man.
There were
presumably ghosts at some point.
There was a couple of sex scenes, Ash. Yes, you're absolutely right. And remember, this was PG back in 1984.
Yeah,
love it.
There's that particular scene where Ray Stantz is lying down in bed, gets his stance on.
Can we just cut that joke out? Nonny, can we just leave? And we'll talk about the cartoon series. Let Ash have his victory sip of tea after that one.
Yeah.
Much deserved. So the film obviously kicked off first, and like a lot of things that happened in the 80s, even though the film itself wasn't specifically a children's film, a lot of kids saw it, I saw it when I was very young, and like a lot of at least adult-aimed films in the 1980s, there was children's tie-in, there was cartoons, and there was merchandise, because if you remember things like Rambo had a children's cartoon, and Robocop had a children's cartoon, Police Academy had a children's cartoon.
Eventually you're going to list something I've seen.
My Little Pony?
Was that a film?
No,
first?
You know what? I didn't see any My Little Pony until I was 18 years old.
Okay, never mind.
The animated series of Black Beauty.
No.
Oh god, there actually was an animated series of Black Beauty.
Yes, there was. Yep.
So this was a bit of a thing in the 80s to take something that was aimed primarily at adults or older audiences and go, who needs access to this? Kids. And so they'd create loads of spin-offs and cartoons and action figures, and Ghostbusters was one of them. I think with the sequel especially was a bit more aimed at I'm not going to say aimed at specifically a younger audience, but it was a bit more open to a younger audience in ways that the first film may not have been. And I think a lot of that was because of the Real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, the second film was essentially, it kind of wanted to follow on from the first movie, but because they already had a key demographic to target in on, which was the kids from the Real Ghostbusters cartoon series, so a lot of things were toned down, a lot of the jokes were toned down, a lot of the swearing was toned down, none of the main cast smoke on screen. So they've tried to walk that fine line between a film sequel and satisfying the fans. You can kind of tell that with the way that Janine looks in the film, and the way Slimer was designed as well to match up with the cartoon series.
Yes, that's something that I was going to actually be bringing up during the discussion of the cartoon, that they do in the second movie alter Janine to be a little bit more reflective of how she appears in the cartoon, which is very strange when you look at her in the first movie. They seem like so very different characters, and when I was younger I didn't even realize they were the same character. It was when I was a little bit older, I kind of went, oh, they're both Janine. And I think there was such a difference in not just her look, but in also the way she was portrayed as well. In the first film, she was very, tetchy at times, and Ghostbusters, what do you want? And
I think the term you're looking for is, do it again. Do that again.
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
I think the term you were looking for, Ash, is that she was very New York, or in your case, she was very New York via Brisbane.
Yeah. So, and then there's also this within the first film. There's an implication of a romance between her and Egon, and all of that, those characterizations, the style, the romance, all dropped in the second movie. And she is very much the Janine of the cartoons rather than Janine of the first movie. So I think we'll probably get into compare and contrast a little later on. The primary focus of this is the television show. The television show, Des, do you remember what year it aired? I think it was 1988?
It ran from 1986 to 1991. It ran for a hell of a long time, mostly thanks to the merchandising. It was a big thing merchandising-wise. Obviously, the 80s, you can't have anything on a bigger small screen without it being slapped on a lunchbox or made little small plastic figurines of it. It ran for, I think that's 5-6 seasons, I think it was.
Des, you're older than me, aren't you?
Thank you for pointing that out, Noni. Yes, I am.
No, because I think I've just realized why I didn't actually realize how old the cartoon was. Do you want to know how old I was when it ended?
Oh, God, this is going to make me cry. Go ahead.
It was -3.
Noni, drink more of your WKD. It's absolutely... I was born the year that the film came out. I was born in 1984, so I was like the key demographic for this kind of franchise.
Wait.
Yes.
84.
Yes, I'm older than Des.
No, I'm surprised at how old Des is. that makes you like a full decade older than me.
You made me feel so good, Noni, and then in one swoop you took it away from me, so thank you.
I assumed you were like 3 years older than me. Tops.
No, I am 35 years old.
Huh.
I'm 37, and I think it's just something in the water of the millennials, I guess.
I feel
like
this whole bit's definitely going to get cut.
No, I don't think so, Ash, because you can clearly tell I'm drinking juice, you're drinking tea, she's drinking a drink from the 90s, so I think we're actually okay on that front, so chin-chin.
Chin-chin?
Chin-chin.
Slanjavan, all that shit.
This is going to be great. You and me, Ash, we're going to talk about Ghostbusters, and Noni is going to get more and more pissed, so this is going to be a good episode.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
So,
I might actually need to grab the other bottle of WKD.
Ash, are you actually video recording this? Because I am actually tempted. I still have my Real Ghostbuster figurines and my Ecto-1, and I am sorely tempted to grab them just to show.
Yeah, show them all.
All right, give me a second.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So
I don't know what I walked into at that point in the conversation.
I'm wearing a T-shirt for a band I saw once but didn't really like very much.
And I'm wearing Sonic the Hedgehog, and if I go like that, I look like I am Sonic the Hedgehog.
I am just wearing clothes, so it's not like me to wear something that isn't branded. So okay.
Okay, so you've got your collectibles here. Let's have a look.
All right. So first and foremost, there's my little Peter Venkman.
Oh, cute.
Does he have?
No, he no proton pack. I'm afraid no. I've got
I remember the little twizzly things that they had in the proton one. And when I was a kid, I didn't like the fact that they just stuck out so much, so I snapped it off.
Everybody does that. Everybody does that, which is why when the new series comes out, I will be keeping them mint in box. So next up, I've got my little Ray stands. This is. You're going to say something, Noni.
Was he voiced by Fred? Like from Scooby-Doo?
Oh,
I actually believe. That was Frank Welker that did the voice of this. I believe that was... Yes, actually it is. That was the voice of Fred in Scooby-Doo.
So I was there being like, this sounds really fucking familiar.
Now, this is one from the Fright Night series, which has a special feature, which if I just bring it nice and close to the camera, and if you squeeze the arm, he becomes scared.
I had Egon. I had the Egon one of that, where his hair goes up.
You mean this one?
Yes.
His hair was something else, though.
It was we're going to talk about the hair. Trust me, we're going to talk about the hair. But this one's very special. I love this one because his hair doesn't go up Ash. His entire...
That's... Yes.
There's a trigger from this, but his jaw opens like that. So it's kind of like,
That is mildly horrifying.
No more horrifying than this version of Egon.
God, I remember that one as well.
You remember this one as well, Ash? I really wish... I think if I remember right now, if you push something on his back, there we go. He becomes scared because this is what should... This is the one where the hair pops up, Ash. There's the hair rising.
What the fuck?
It was the 80s, Nonny. It was a different time. And last but not least, my pride and joy, my Ecto-1. I love this. Fun fact, this I actually did not own when I was growing up. A couple of years ago, just before I got married, a couple of friends of ours came to see me at a convention, and they said that they had something for me, and they presented me with a bag, and they had found this in a second-hand shop, and they had bought it specifically for me.
Bless.
And I love this thing so damn much, mostly because it took 33 years for it to arrive into my hands.
So when I was younger, I got some of the toys as well. I also got the Proton Pack.
I hate you, Ash.
Did you?
I did not get the Proton Pack. I got the Slime Blower.
Oh, okay.
It's not as kicky as you made that there, Dash.
So, no, I remember getting it for a birthday, and I got that, and I also got this proton wand that projected ghost images. And my nan used to clean a nightclub at the time, and sometimes I'd go in with her in the mornings, and I just remember one morning running around the nightclub, zapping ghosts on the wall, hunting ghosts out, and then I was sick. I'm assuming unconnected, but...
I hope so.
Ectoplasm everywhere.
I was dressed up as me and my friends once did a Ghostbusters Halloween costume, which I hadn't seen Ghostbusters, but I was like, yeah, sure. And then my little brother heard that we were going to do the Ghostbusters, so him and his mates were like, well, we want to do the Ghostbusters, and I'm still salty because he got to get the power washer to use as his proton pack. So I had to use the cordless vacuum, which had no attachment. So I was just there with a handheld Hoover. I'm still salty.
I will see your story and I will raise you, Nonny. Whenever I was growing up at school, the boys will keep me company now. When I was coming home from school, I used to recreate a proton pack by putting on my school backpack and using my sister's curling tongs as a neutrino wand, partly because the plug came out the back of it, so if I fed it into my backpack, it was like the cable from the proton pack going in.
Because you know nothing about what my childhood was like, I feel like you don't know enough to counter, like, my hypocrisy here when I say, you were such a fucking nerd.
I wear that as a badge of honor, Noni, so thank you very much.
You don't hear the derision in my voice then.
No, I don't, and I never hear it from anybody, because when somebody calls me a nerd, it's not an insult. Thank you, Ash.
So the cartoon itself was hugely popular, and it was one of those kind of Saturday morning shows that came on, and it was around the same time as Ninja Turtles and shows like that. And it was a huge part of anyone who grew up in the 80s. And they did make lots of changes between the...
I'll just go fuck myself then.
The cartoon itself, the animated show, came off on the back of the series film, and they made a lot of changes to it. And One of the changes I found most odd, I mean, I understand why they changed costumes. I understand entirely because it makes them easier to identify. But one thing I found weird was how much they changed the look of some of the characters. Ray and Peter specifically, when I look at them, I kind of see them in reverse of their film counterparts. I always look at cartoon Peter and think, well, he looks more like film Ray. And I look at cartoon Peter and I think, oh, he looks... Sorry. Yeah, and vice versa. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, vice versa. Yeah.
Okay, so which one actually was played by Bill Murray?
In the film,
this guy here, Peter Venkman. The guy in brown.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
the one who was writing the bills.
That's the one. Yeah, that
Cool.
was Bill Murray's character. Ray was the little ginger-haired one. This fella here, that was Dan Aykroyd's character.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
So Dan Aykroyd, just a bit of a fun fact about Dan Aykroyd. I remember reading an interview with him in FHM, and he was asked how hairy his butt was, and he says, "Oh, it's really hairy, loads of gunk down there." Just a little bit of fun facts for you.
Thanks, Ash.
Thanks. Wow, that is a piece of information I could have gone my entire life without knowing.
This is the type of
that.
quality information that you will get when you listen to this show during a lockdown.
God, that's definitely going to make it into the edit, though, isn't it?
Oh, you know it will.
Oh,
you know it will.
Absolutely. I mean, that fact just has to get out there to the entire world, you know?
I mean, if I have to suffer, so does everyone else.
So yes, then we had Egon, who I think physically has the most changes between the film and the show. And Des, you wanted to kind of talk about that. You mentioned earlier.
I did mention it earlier. It's the hair. Yes, everybody is familiar with the hair. I mean, obviously, when you have in the film, you've got the three main guys, and they're all, let's not mince our words, they're all white. They're wearing beige. They've all got brown hair. You've got to do things that are different to differentiate them. And obviously, the big changes came from Ray and Egon. Ray, obviously, he became like a slightly more pudgier version, and he had ginger hair. And Egon kept the same look as Harold Ramis, tall, lanky. The glasses were smaller and kind of down on the nose like that. But the hair obviously had to do what I love about 80s show, which is that it defies all logic and reason. It's like a little tunnel that just burrows straight into his head, and it's now looking like Ash. So it's essentially Ash Egon'd up for this particular episode.
I just googled what Egon looks like in the film.
Yeah, it's a big difference, isn't it? Yeah. Very, very different. Yes, I know.
Choice.
I think the biggest difference... The most obvious difference is the epididymis.
Come again, babe?
Yeah. It's a very, very subtle, stupid joke from Ghostbusters 2, Noni. It's absolutely fine.
Okay, cool, brilliant, thanks.
Yeah.
I did say that I was going to be the like token idiot.
No, you did, but many people wouldn't have even gotten that one. And it was only thanks to Ghostbusters 2 that most of us actually looked up what the I can't even say it.
Epididymis.
The epididymis is.
What is the epididymis?
It's your epididymis.
Yeah, no, explain further, Ash. Keep going.
It's the dangly bit.
It's a part of the penis, Noni.
Alright, one sec.
You're going to look up what the epididymis... Okay.
Oh, why is... Okay, so I feel like I need to tell you what the predicted results of this are. So I got to epidid, and I got epididymis, epididymitis, and then epididymal cyst.
Oh no!
I'm not looking up what that is.
No. Look what you've done to poor Egon. Look, he's terrified. Terrified.
The tube that connects the testicle to the vas deferens. Okay.
There you go.
Cool. Great.
So anyway, back on track.
Back on track.
Today I learned
what an epididymis is, and that Dan Aykroyd has a very hairy butthole.
Okay, who's Dan Aykroyd? I need to...
Ray Stantz.
Yeah, look up. Yeah, Ray Stantz. He's also in Coneheads and Sneakers.
Oh, him!
There you go.
I don't know anything that he's in.
But you know him.
But, yeah, thanks. Yeah, but I know his face, and thanks, that was...
Now you know his butthole.
Now you know his butthole is hairy.
Great. Great. Wonderful.
Shall we get back on topic somehow?
So there were a lot of changes that were made throughout it, from the films to the TV show, and then from the TV show influenced the second film as well. And although there were follow-up series, there was Ghostbusters Extreme, which I think continues the continuity
of the real Ghostbusters. Yeah.
And also there was a slight. As the show went on, it got more popular, and Slimer became more popular. They changed the name as well, didn't they, to Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters?
Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters. I fucking hate that fact.
But there is also at least one of the Ghostbusters cartoon we haven't mentioned, and it's the one that started the entire franchise.
You're all about Filmation, aren't you?
I am, yes. Des.
Yeah. All right. Just so you and the internet know, Noni, right? The name The Real Ghostbusters did not start with the 1984 film. Okay. There was a short-lived series in the 60s, 70s, round about that, called The Ghostbusters, that had two guys and a gorilla going around doing slapsticky style comedy. It was very short-lived, and we have lost Noni. So it was extremely short-lived. And by the time the film was coming out, they were going to use the name Ghostbusters, but they didn't have the rights to that name. So there's alternate takes on YouTube where they're doing certain things and they have to call themselves Ghostbusters, and then Ghost Smashers, Ghost Blasters, because they didn't have the rights to the name and they needed alternate takes. Now, when they're outside 55 Central Park West and the crowd starts chanting Ghostbusters, that's when Columbia had to fight to get the rights to the name. So they struck a deal with Filmation, which is that Sony will have the rights to the name Ghostbusters in film only. But but Filmation would own the rights for anything else TV related. So when the film came out, and it was extremely popular, they decided to capitalize on it by releasing their version of Ghostbusters, which was a continuation of the original series about the two guys and the gorilla, which is where their descendants, including the gorilla, would go off and have adventures. And this show is as weird as you think it is. Noni.
Why are we not talking about that? I want to go watch that.
You really don't, Noni. It's so bad.
Maybe in season 2 of Television Terrors, we should watch.
We should. Right, I will make a deal. If you just want to come back and re-watch that, then I will.
Yes.
I will stock it up and I will do that for this show.
Oh, that's beautiful. That makes me so happy.
That's going into series 2, definitely.
Yeah.
So the 4 episodes that we're going to talk about specifically to focus in on, that give us a good idea of the world of the Real Ghostbusters. The first one, and these are all Des's suggestions here, they're all from the first series. The first episode that we're actually going to be talking about is Mrs. Rogers' Neighborhood, which involves the Ghostbusters being called out to a haunting. They're quite excited about the fact they get to go to one because they haven't had one for a while, and they head out there and they send the old lady away and send her back to the firehouse, and turns out throughout the course of it that she's actually a ghost herself, and she's trying to release all of the entities from the ecto-containment unit so that she can rule over them, which I guess it makes her the follow-on from William Atherton's character in the movies.
Yes. Noni, do you even know who we're talking about? No. Okay. Well, I love that you joined in. Thank you for that. In a way she does, yes, but I love. Do you remember what Mrs. Rogers, what her real name is?
What?
Yeah, what? It's like an Abbott and Costello skit all to itself. It's beautiful.
Oh, I was thinking Reeves and Mortimer from Shooting Stars.
Oh, damn it! That would have been. Yeah. Really, Noni? That's a reference you don't get?
It sounds familiar, but I don't.
I mean, I think a lot of Shooting Stars wouldn't work well today, especially Vic Reeves' borderline harassment.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all gotta remember, even for like the time that I did grow up, I have like no pop cultural knowledge. I didn't watch The Lion King till I was like 17.
You are in the right place for this type of show, then, Nolly.
Yeah. So yeah, we have Ash, who's like old as fuck, and I love you. I'm sorry, you're not old. You're not old. You've got at least a few good years left in you.
Exactly.
Jesus.
You're not old, but like I have not seen most things.
Yeah.
So
fair enough.
So
yeah, we have the person who has seen them and the person who usually hasn't.
So I guess it's good to ask you this, like, coming to it for the first time. What did you make of what you saw?
I'm gonna be honest, Slimer did my fucking head in.
Yes! Thank you.
Don't you fucking dare. If you make it make the noise, I will actually hang up this call, I swear to God.
He's very temperamental in making the noise. Sometimes he makes it, sometimes he doesn't.
Okay. No, I'm not joking. If you make it make the noise, I'm hanging up. No, but and I kind of want to cosplay Janine a little bit.
I think
yes, I could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like her design.
Yeah, she did go through several designs, but that was like numero uno design with the big coiffed hair, the pointy glasses.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm there for that.
You'll know this, Des. Is it true that her design was redesigned between seasons because the original designers decided that it was too sexy for a kids show?
Yes, that is 100% correct.
I mean, if I had watched this as a child, Janine would probably have been like one of my Queer Awakening characters.
Fair enough. So,
oh yeah, absolutely had a crush.
I'm going
to tell you,
you know.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you two very. I'm going to give you two very quick things right now. That this is actually one of them is a fact, and the other literally just happened. Okay, one.
Okay.
Ash is absolutely right. The character design of Janine was changed from like season 2 to season 3 to tone down her sexiness because she wore like very short skirts and she's very flamboyant with her design and everything. And second of all, this has literally just happened. The voice actor of Janine, Laura Summers, has literally just messaged me to check if I am okay during this crisis.
Oh my God!
This is 100% true. A message literally just popped up here because I sent her a message wanting to see how she's doing, and she says that she's doing okay. There's an emotional times, but everybody's doing okay, and she's looking for my response. So I am looking forward to messaging Janine after this is sorted.
Okay, just give me 2 seconds, Des, just because I have to pick up this name you just dropped. Don't take this away from me, Nolly. Don't take this away from me. No, I won't. That is hilarious. That is brilliant.
He must be like Beetlejuice. We said her name too many times and she just appeared.
Yes.
Yeah.
The episode in question was... It's one that I hadn't seen before. In fact, I used to watch it quite a lot as a child, but I can't remember a lot of the ones I saw when I was younger. I can only remember the ones I've watched in more recent years. So... It was a fun episode, and I did kind of make some notes about it going through. One of the things I found about kind of interesting that this episode kind of reminded me of and pointed out, especially in relation to the series as a whole, is the ghosts within the Real Ghostbusters aren't usually what we would consider ghosts. They're more like demons and supernatural entities, which I guess is good because I don't think there's a lot of mileage in a show that would just focus on typical ghosts, and because it'd be the same every single week, going out doing the same thing. So,
Plus, I think the idea of like physically trapping the souls of an actual person that lived gets into some philosophical territory that's maybe not appropriate for 6-year-olds.
It wasn't for the for the target audience if you go to philosophical debates of whether capturing human spirits in traps is good things or not.
Just keeping them in your cupboard.
So there was a line. There's a line that I think in lockdown just really stood out to me. It's when Venkman says, "Sure is good to be back in business," and I'm like, yeah, must be for some.
Yeah. Oh, they haven't had a call for weeks, but yet they can still go out to restaurants and touch the loved ones. Oh, those bastards.
Don't give Pete Venkman that idea.
I haven't touched a living thing since the 18th of March.
You don't have any plants in your house, Noni, or
Nope.
a pet?
Nope. Oh no! I now have plants. I have a basil plant in my window.
So have you touched the basil plant at
I
all?
have. That is the only living thing I have touched since the 18th of March.
We go.
It's nearly as good as a hug.
There's no response to that.
No.
There's not. No.
Bringing down the mood.
So, I thought there was a couple of things that this episode, and it's something that applies to all the episodes I watched as well. But generally, a couple of great things. That animation styles obviously change from decade to decade, and the reason a lot of animation today looks the way it does is because it's cheaper to draw, and so for the animation style at the time, back in the 80s, there seemed to be a bit more money put into it, and so you had some wonderful designs, some wonderful surreal imagery, but also something that doesn't really get mentioned much in relation to kids shows, and that is the soundtrack is so good. The music all the way through is just fantastic. It's really, really well put together. And I think not just for a kids show, but for a show in general, it really gets all the right beats, and it sounds like a natural continuation from the style of music in the films as well.
Yeah. If you talk to many fans like myself, one of the first things that they will bring up is the specific music from the show, because you've got the action music, which is the Ray Parker Jr. theme. You've got like the exposition music when Egon is explaining something, the horror theme where it's about to go into a commercial, so you've got to have that big build up of like, what's going to happen, come back, get your cereal and come back. So if you talk to any fan about the show, one of the first things that's going to come up is the music, quickly followed by the merchandise. So those are the two main things that most fans remember from the show.
Yeah,
I like how occasionally it would just go into a random pop song. That was fun.
Yeah,
I love that as well, because it's so 80s that they just throw in a pop song, mostly because they could sell it as a single later down the line. So it's all about making money, Noni. It was all about the money.
Oh, it absolutely is. If you look at the ghosts and monsters that appear, they're all so very different, all very strange and weird. And then you look at the toy line that got released to go alongside it, and there was just... The 80s was a time of toys. I mean, the 80s was a time where they would create a cartoon just to sell toys.
Yeah.
He-Man. Transformers.
Yeah. Yes, Transformers, yeah.
And He-Man as well. He-Man, the cartoon, was created to market the toy line. So it's not unusual that happens. And I don't know, you don't quite see that as much today. I mean, people might say that's a good thing. You're no longer marketing toys to children and getting, but there was something really wonderful about it, like going into a toy shop in the 80s and 90s and just kind of like, oh, there's Ghostbusters, I'm going to get those. And that's because of the show. The show just created so much. And you look at characters like Mrs. Rogers, who turns into Watt, and just becomes this great big huge beast, this great big monster. And it's just it's a marketing salesperson's dream, isn't it?
Oh yeah, because you've got Mrs. Rogers, and then you could buy Watt, and then if you want to complete Mrs. Rogers, you got to get her little bird and the kids. That also changes into something else. Everything was always about it either starts off big and grotesque, or it starts off small and then goes big and grotesque. It's always, no matter the outcome, it's always big and grotesque and nasty, and you got to blast it with proton streams. That's the main thing of the Ghosties.
Yes. And I did enjoy this episode. I think out of the 4 that we saw, this was the I'm going to say most normal, I guess. All the other 3 had very, very strong gimmicks within them. So
this had the moment of the mind control.
Oh, the possession.
Yeah. She was like...
that was one of the main reasons I remember this show, was when Peter is possessed, and there's something about the way that he's drawn is that when he's when he's drawn normally, it's kind of like it's very soft shadows and his teeth are normal. But when he was possessed by what, the hair goes big and they really exaggerate each shadow and each tooth individually. So he kind of like had for lack of a better term, a jokery grin, which always stuck with me because it was terrifying to see Peter Venkman look like that.
Oh, it was a
even if it was for a short time. Well, the first 2 seasons were primarily, it was a kids show, but it was designed to scare them. It was when it became Slimer and the Real Ghostbusters that they really toned everything down, and it just didn't really have the same feel to it.
No, because something I was picking up throughout all these episodes is they were very scary in tone, and they were very unsettling. I don't remember how I reacted as a child. I mean, I obviously loved the show, but I can imagine it actually genuinely being quite terrifying for kids. It's not holding anything back.
No. They really wanted it to be like the film, because if you watch the film, it's not laughs all the way through. There is genuinely terrifying moments in that, and I think they really wanted to incorporate that into the TV show as well. But obviously, the marketing showed that they're not selling enough toys because it's too scary for kids, so they pushed Slimer to the forefront and kind of really made him the focus of everything because he's cute and cuddly and merchandisable. He's marketable.
Yeah.
So for the first early seasons, it was really tailored for fans. It was a funny show that had the characters, but it was also really upsettingly terrifying at the same time.